Time for our weekly roundup of the bills making their way through the state legislature. King 5's Drew Mickelson joins us now from Olympia. So, Drew, this past week saw several bills coming up for debate and the votes on the floors of the House and Senate. What issues stood out to you?
Hi, Christine. Yeah, I like to think of this as like the March Madness portion of the legislative session when some of these bills are running out of time and slowly the list is getting narrowed down. Some of the more controversial ones will be coming up here in the next week. But this past week, we saw some more bipartisan issues dealt with, including one dealing with child sex abuse survivors and the laws surrounding them. Courtney Butler shared her powerful story with us and lawmakers. She helped get a bill passed off the House floor. Back in 2005, when she was 16, she said a club soccer coach raped her. But when she tried suing, the club tried to get the lawsuit thrown out, arguing the civil statute of limitations had expired. Now, in most cases, when someone is raped as a minor, they only have until the age of 21 to seek civil damages. If Courtney's bill passes, the statute of limitations for child sex abuse civil claims would be eliminated.
Thinking about it, the years later, in that moment, I thought for sure that's when I was going to die. And then I spent a decade afterwards wishing that he had killed me.
As we saw in a couple of your stories this past week, Drew, students descended upon the Capitol on some issues they're very passionate about, including some controversial gun law proposals.
Yeah, we met some very impressive young citizens, and the most impressive part is that none of them were old enough to vote. First of all, on Monday, a group of students who actually sit on school boards across the state met with legislators, the governor, and had an hour-long Q&A with State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Chris Rakedahl. The students came looking for increases in funding for school buses and drivers and in special education.
You never truly understand what happens during a school shooting till you live through one.
Then on Wednesday, high schoolers who witnessed the shooting at Ingram High School last November pressured lawmakers to take action on a series of gun-related laws, including one that would require gun safety training courses and another that would ban the sale of so-called military-style assault weapons.
When is this going to end? When will I be able to walk into my school and not worry about losing my life? I don't want to sit in a classroom saying my I love yous to my parents and hoping that this isn't my last breath.
Restricting certain types of firearms, restricting the tool that violent minds use to make mayhem isn't the right solution. The right solution is to try to reach the violent mind.
And the state's hazing laws could be strengthening too, right?
Yes, and that is an issue that's a lot less controversial than the gun-related laws. You may remember the story. We've talked about it the last couple of years. The Sam Martinez Stop Hazing Act passed unanimously off the floor of the House this past week, and now it heads to the Senate. Sam Martinez was 19 when he died in a hazing-related alcohol poisoning at his fraternity at Washington State University in the fall of 2019. Under current law, hazing is a misdemeanor, but if this new proposal passes, it would become a more serious, gross misdemeanor. And in the event that someone has died, the hazing would be a felony.
His smile impacted his friends and his family in many positive ways. And they don't get to see his smile any longer. With today, we have an opportunity through the Sam Martinez Stop Hazing Act to right that wrong.
Hazing is damaging, devastating, and often lifelong. I think that the way that we have it set up currently is a misdemeanor for hazing is the same as a parking ticket or shoplifting.
Legislators are facing another one of those deadlines this coming Wednesday. That's the last day that bills can pass off either the floor of the House or the Senate, and you can expect some of those more controversial ones to be the buzzer beaters right at the end. Christine?
All right, Drew, we know you will be watching it all. Thank you very much. And if you want to see all of Drew's coverage from the Capitol, text the word session to 206-448-4545, and we'll send you a link.